What do you think of them?
This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
That is so beautiful.
No.
They're ridiculous.
No.
She never stops whining.
No.
Meghan Markle Googled, is the race card an actual card?
Slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband.
Hey, I love your Luke.
Sorry, what's that?
Your Luke. You look amazing. Your Luke.
My Luke. My Luke. My look. She likes my Luke. Your voice is driving me crazy and I'm about to jump over there and put my fists down your throat.
She's allegedly wearing no makeup. Meanwhile, she's got like the perfect blowout. Like she's completely camera ready. And she also is pretending like she's crying. There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
I've never seen someone that struggles to just give us like one strip of authenticity.
I think the woke have been asleep.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
You're complaining about your hard life and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous.
I'm searching for something to like about her, and it's so hard.
Well, if Meghan and Harry can quit their family, you can too.
No.
Is Meghan Markle acting like the victim once more? Or is she truly the Duchess of Drama?
Here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
I have full body chills right now.
This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Thank you. Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
No.
Did her tearful podcast appearance improve her reputation? Or did it only make matters worse? After all, nothing felt genuine. Jamie Kern-Lima, the host.
Jamie Kern-Lima, who seems to be even more fake and insufferable than the Duchess.
Both of them did come across like they haven't actually, been in touch with maybe someone who's worried about the price of eggs.
Very first question, because I think in friendship it's so important. And I think so many people also have this question for you is, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind.
Yes, it really is that awful. I may have blacked out from smacking myself in the head.
I got the creeps from her. She continued to compliment Meghan as though she were royalty reincarnated. It wasn't so much an interview as it was a fan club gathering.
Dan, when you do interviews on your show, do you do the Jamie Kern-Lima reactions? Yes. Oh my God, there's something wrong with her.
Let's now examine how her Time magazine pivotal moment was ignited by the internet. Critics cringed at Prince Harry's botched BBC interview. An insider rumor suggested that Meghan was more narcissistic than heroic. She continues to talk about herself, even when she discusses children.
For kids, that's fun, so many good songs, and I've become that mom where I'm like sitting around with friends and I start singing like, Tyrannosaurus, that's the chorus, Tyrannosaurus. I was like, what am I singing? Oh my gosh, I'm singing Storybook. I'm singing Storybooks. I am not singing Beyonce in that.
The Spotify arrangement was canceled. She is in danger of being kicked out of the royal family after her Netflix show failed. Given that no one is purchasing gifts anymore, perhaps it's time for her to stop signing them as Her Royal Highness.
40 minutes into the podcast, this little picture, quite a grainy picture, flashed up, which shows a basket of, homemade preserves with a card on it, HRH, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan.
You dropped off this gift basket with ice creams, homemade strawberry sauce to put on top of the ice cream.
I find it a little bit cringe to give a gift to a close friend and sign it Her Royal Highness.
Why even in private? She's using that full title, Her Royal Highness.
I would never refer to myself as Her Royal Highness.
They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm going to put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
Meghan Markle's most recent podcast was marketed as being honest and unscripted, with no makeup and simply the Duchess of Sussex sharing her heart. However, to be honest, it didn't feel genuine at all. Rather, it felt to be a well-choreographed PR gimmick masquerading as vulnerability.
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim when there's nothing to be a victim about. And there's also no sympathy to be granted for this lifestyle that she's chosen to live.
When Katy Perry referred to herself as an astronaut, it seemed more genuine than when Meghan Markle pretended to be one. Jamie, the podcast host, is Meghan's friend, but let's face it, she kissed her ass the entire time. It resembled a pre-written fan letter rather than an interview. Ultimately, All we discovered was the extent of Meghan's royal impersonation.
Work so hard. The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done. It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line and what's the cadence of it. And
in this interview, she really goes on these tangents of talking about how stressful her day is. And when I was listening to it, I was thinking, no, that sounds like a normal day to me, Meg.
The majority of commentators said it was a well-thought-out attempt to promote her as a lifestyle brand. Although everything sold out in 30 minutes, the catch is that there wasn't much merchandise to start with. It was all a marketing ploy to make her appear successful, even if it was all smoke and mirrors.
It flopped really hard despite Spotify trying to push it, and they realized that these two don't really want to work, okay?
Happened to Spotify. The critics were horrible about With Love, Meghan. You sold inventory that you didn't have on asever.com. People are still waiting for their refund.
So when she's trying to sell these kind of, I'm sorry, but crappy, cheap tats to middle America, she needs to have this relatability, and she doesn't have that at all.
Online users continue to express dissatisfaction over not receiving their orders. Even if it has been almost a month, things were made worse by Meghan's trademark applications for pet bowls and yoga mats. Exusers were quick to accuse it of being a desperate attempt to make money.
She's trying to sell herself as this wholesome mother who's baking cookies and making tea for the rest of the family.
And this was one of the most, every mother out there will understand. She wants us to put together a fruit crudité board for our children in the morning. Now, look, Maureen. Look at this.
I can't.
She is doing a cooking show on Netflix. I only watched 5 seconds of it, and I thought she was going to cut her wrist by trying to zest a lemon. This girl has never been in the kitchen in her life.
To be honest, I've never encountered a podcast where the host endlessly boasts about how wonderful their life is.
I don't like her.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Everybody who works for her quits. Everybody says she's a bully. She's very nasty. Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about it to everybody who works for her. When things inevitably start spiraling downward, she blames everyone but herself.
No effort, no integrity, simply constant self-promotion. The key question is whether she is truly being authentic or if she is merely pretending to be someone else in order to get through another episode of the Meghan Markle show.
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention. And then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
Meghan, who is once again portraying herself as the ideal mother, says she emails her 2 children every night. If you can believe that, it sounds more like a publicity gimmick than actual parenting. Really, who does that? It's the type of thing people say when they want to appear perfect, not sincere.
Can you imagine being Archie or Lilibet and opening this inbox of 6,000 emails when you turn 18? No one wants that, not the children. And also it sets this really unrealistic expectation, which Meghan is so good at doing for other parents.
If I don't have meetings in the morning, then I try to do school drop-off. They're at 2 different schools. So from 6:30 in the morning on drop-off mornings for me, I'm not home till 9.
Her life is so hard because she has to do school drop-offs. And thank God that she's got a live-in nanny basically raising these 2 children.
Although the program received millions of streams and had viral videos on Instagram and TikTok, not everyone was delighted. The majority of people didn't agree with host Jamie Kern-Lama's description of it as raw. The way Jamie pressed the point that Meghan hadn't seen any of the questions beforehand made it even stranger. For example, why repeat it so much? It felt less like honesty and more like damage control before the internet could brand it phony.
You haven't seen any of the questions ahead of time, and we're in our sweats, and you look the exact same with no makeup as makeup, and we're
that's very
Really? Why do you keep saying it and making it such a big deal? Are you attempting to persuade the audience? Or are you merely trying to convince yourself that this wasn't all staged and phony from the beginning?
She's allegedly wearing no makeup. Meanwhile, she's got like the perfect blowout. Like she's completely camera ready. And she also is pretending that she's crying. There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
During promotion for Suits, she was joking with one of the photographers that she can cry on command. Left eye, go. And then you watch a tear fall down her face, and then she starts cackling because she's so proud of herself.
She has this really famous thing where she says, one-tap left eye and she can make herself cry on demand.
In any case, we didn't purchase it. Everything seemed too well practiced and flawless. Alexander Lerman of the Daily Mail saw her tears as an obvious attempt to remain relevant. To be honest, he's not incorrect. She was dismantled by former users who pointed out how polished everything appeared and suggested that it was all a part of a plan. One person even made the quip, "Even her tears have a PR team." Furthermore, it didn't feel like a breakdown, let's face it. It seemed to be a covert brand launch.
It's just another lie from Meghan where she's told us one thing about this wholesome family life that she's got, but really it's staff behind the scenes that are upholding this entire image for this woman.
According to Marker, her articles were perceived by critics as being unduly self-centered and always returning to her brand or personal issues, as though everything had to be about Meghan. According to royal insiders quoted by The Express, her image won't be improved by this abrupt emotional change. Actually, some people think it's just another staged show, another planned attempt to maintain media attention while feigning relatability.
They kind of f***ed up their whole thing, went way too hard on we're victims, and they assessed the mood of their generation and America correctly in that we are lovers of victimhood.
Yeah.
But America did finally find a way to say, you know what, we love victims, but you two, we've just had a little too much of it.
I mean, tone deaf could be Meghan Markle's middle name.
At the age of 100, Meghan's pivotal moment. Summit immediately attracted harsh criticism. To be honest, I'm still unable to determine which of these rehearsed interviews seems more phony. Meghan Markle's royal victim act or Blake Lively's staged charm. In any case, the entire situation felt horribly practiced.
She didn't make the Times list of cool people, but she did get invited there because her agency probably bought her access. This is one of the goofiest things ever.
Because I think it speaks to the tiny moments of joy that are so effortless and just create a little bit of magic that we're all craving.
What in the hell word salad is this?
Tiny little flower petals that are dried. I started putting them on salads. I started putting them on scrambled eggs. Level of charm that you find people have when they see these tiny little dried petals is something I can't fully wrap my head around, but I appreciate.
I'm elevating it by putting dried flower petals on all of my food.
Despite not being on the 2025 list, her Times Summit address further increased criticism. Her participation was deemed absurd by exusers, who pointed out that her business is failing. She sells cupcake sprinkles, jam, and honey, not really making a difference in the world. But who does she think she is? Gayle King is a real lady who made history. She actually traveled to space. Critics have referred to Meghan as a self-promoter who uses royal titles to gain attention, according to GB News. And with her alleged influence under scrutiny, Times Nod feels more like a public relations campaign than a crown.